and on my first day I was given some books. Most of them were lined, but one of them had blank pages, and that one I decided to use for pleasure. I had bought some Godzilla comics from my local Forbidden Planet, and so I used the images to draw Godzilla and whatever kaiju starred in the issues. However, I did draw other monsters, but by memory, and while they were impressive back then, I have made better since, and I still do them to this day. Eventually my folks began to order things off eBay, and I knew what this meant. I could now finally order kaiju figures that I wanted, and so not long after an operation, I got 5 new high-grade figures, as well as 3 lovely REVOLTECH models of Gigan, Anguirus, and Baragon. Despite no Godzilla movie being made, well, sort of, since the 2014 film was being planned and in production, 2012 was a golden year for me, as my kaiju enthusiasm was at its highest, and I can now watch the movies and play the games without wishing that I had the figures. The Dragodzilla channel didn't exist back then, but I was aware of YouTube, as I was introduced to the website in 2007, and I discovered some amazing fan-made Godzilla videos. There were many channels that increased the kaiju bug, but these were the main 4 that I watched on a regular basis and still do to this day. CINEMASSACRE'S Monster Madness Godzillathon, Goji73's Godzilla and His Amazing Friends, as well as his figure reviews and narration on the NES Godzilla creepypasta by Cosby Daff, B3 Productions Godzilla and Gigan, and of course, the main inspiration for my own Godzilla parody series, Kaiju and Cryptids, Monster Island Buddies. And along the way I have made friends with some other kaiju enthusiasts, like ZillaFan85, and just recently Atomic Ninja. Sometimes there were occasions where I showed interest for characters who I never thought I would ever show a likeness to, Mogira being an example. If you saw my review on the Gashapon Figures 2012 Group B, you may recall that I said that I wasn't a fan of Mogira, and to me the robot was an inferior version of Mechagodzilla. However, after seeing the show Starlight Express, the costumes did remind me of Mogira from the Mysterians, and so I made it part of Group B, and I got these high-grade figures for my 21st birthday, along with the SH MONSTERARTS Fire Rodan and Mechagodzilla 2. Eventually I would move on to the Bandai vinyl figures, because the REVOLTECHs and SH MONSTERARTS would only skyrocket in price, so I don't think I'll be going for any more MONSTERARTS or REVOLTECHs anytime soon. However, aside from collecting vinyls and gashapons, I would also begin to add Godzilla figures from NECA, as they don't cost as much as their SH counterparts. But the days of being a Godzilla fan hasn't just been buying figures and comic books. I would also get the movies on DVD, but because I live in the UK, which if you're a kaiju fan, the United Kingdom is the land that time forgot, I only had 4 Toho movies. 3 of them were Godzilla films and 1 of them King Kong. Those movies were the original King Kong vs. Godzilla, King Kong Escapes, even though that's not a real Godzilla movie like I said, but it's still a Toho film, but I digress. Godzilla Final Wars, and of course the original 1954 Gojira. Okay, Final Wars isn't available in UK DVD shops. My copy that I got off UK Amazon is either Poland or Swindon, but it has the English dub. Yeah, I like to watch the English translations first, to understand the story, and the original Japanese versions later. But I would soon get to see more of the movies, because I got a special type of DVD player that can actually play foreign discs, so I now have a lot of Godzilla films on DVD. Not all, but some. However, I got to see my first Godzilla movie on the big screen, which was the 2014 film from Legendary, and I loved it at the time because it was my first Godzilla movie that I ever saw at the cinema, despite the picture not being made by Toho and Godzilla was CGI, not a guy in a suit. However, I have seen it several times since that day, and even though I still like the movie, it does have its problems, such as too much focus on the humans instead of the monsters, too many scenes of soldiers running around, The Mutos take all the spotlight from Godzilla, and not all but a good majority of the movie is too dark. But Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out 6 years later, made up for it big style, and I grow to love that movie each time I watch it. The critics may not like the picture, and the errors that they point out that the movie has, I'm like, on them. And it was a blast to see two of my favourite characters, King Ghidorah and Rodan, in jumbo size on the big screen, with Godzilla and Mothra, as well as the new titans like Behemoth. So yeah, that's the story on how I became a Godzilla fan / collector. And Godzilla has been one of those subjects that has made this channel possible, as I have made animations and reviews on these wonderful kaiju figures. I have never been to G-Fest, and I would really like to go there, but through the magic of the internet, I have ordered kaiju merchandise through eBay and Amazon, and the collection has just expanded. In the beginning, I always thought that the X-PLUSE 64 Godzilla and TRENDMASTERS would be the only large figures that I would own, and the rest would be GASHAPON figures. But it has been quite a surprise. The figures I have tried to order but failed the first time, well, now I have them. Monsters that I didn't think would appear in the collection, well, now I do. Where I thought I would only have one large figure and one miniature of Gigan, I now have a few figures of the character from both Showa and Final Wars in the collection, and just recently I have gotten the high grade / Gashapon figures of 1955 Godzilla and Anguirus from Godzilla Raids Again. It all started 19 years ago with the GameCube game Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, and there may be some characters like Batra who I don't have at present, and whatever the merchandise for Godzilla vs. Kong looks like, I can guarantee you that it will end up in the Godzilla collection. I hope you have enjoyed this story, and how did you become a Godzilla fan? I hope you all take care during these difficult times, stay safe, and long live the king.